Hey, let's try another superhero book. This one is called Empowered. Never heard of it, but I did notice the name on the comic is Adam Warren, who I know because I am a huge fan of the Dirty Pair. I have the Dirty Pair novels. I have the Dirty Pair TV show. I have the OVAs. I have the movies. I even have Dirty Pair Flash, which brings me to the American version of Dirty Pair comic books, which are by Adam Warren. And here's another one right here. And they're actually really fun reads. I like Adam Warren's style and sense of humor, so hey, let's check out Adam Warren's Empowered. Empowered is a woman who, throughout her life, has wanted nothing more than to be a superhero. Well, she gets her chance because somehow she ends up with a super suit, which grants her super strength and the ability to shoot lasers out of her hands. But it comes with a few notable drawbacks. She can't aim those lasers worth a darn. I don't know if it's her bad aim or the suit just doesn't fire straight, but she rarely ever uses them because she just can't hit the broadside of a barn with them. Another problem is mostly cosmetic. You see, this particular supersuit is really, really, really tight. Like, body-hugging tight. Like, so tight that it conforms to every curve, every crevice in your body, to the point where wearing the suit makes it appear you are walking around in nothing but body paint. It's not like really tight spandex that would stretch across your boobs and across your butt. It surrounds each individual breast and goes up your butt. It's so tight you can actually see her navel. It looks like body paint. It has the support of body paint, too. Yeah, probably not comfortable running around. It also seems to have the thickness of body paint, because another drawback to this suit is it's incredibly fragile. Oh, sure, it gives her super strength. Oh, sure, she can take a bullet while wearing it, but you look at this thing cross and it's going to tear. And when it tears, she loses her powers. And this thing tears. Like if she was walking around and went bump, rip, there go the powers. So someone can go and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, well, I am alive, but now the front of my outfit is shredded and I have no more powers. So, needless to say, she gets kidnapped a lot. So, Miss Empowered, her real name is, who the heck knows? I don't think the book ever says it. There's a flashback that reveals her last name, I think, is Powers, because her teacher's like, Miss Powers, but whatever. Her name is Empowered. Her friends call her Emp. You think it would be M, but no, Emp with a P. Little Empowered is very, very body shy. Like me. Unlike me, however, she'll go outside wearing that. I wouldn't. Nope. Oh, I'm sorry, you're trapped in your car and your car is on fire and aliens are attacking. This suit is really embarrassing. I'm staying indoors. Sorry. Nope. Empowered will still go outside, and she has some really severe self-image issues. But damn it, she will go outside looking ridiculous anyway. She knows that the moment she gets hit or touches something wrong, the suit rips, her power's gone, but damn it, she is going to go out there anyway. She thinks she's the lamest superhero ever because she immediately loses her powers. She looks ridiculous and she's constantly getting captured because, she has no powers. But as her friends and loved ones keep telling her, you're actually kind of the coolest superhero out there because you get over your crippling body and self-image issues. Because even though you're constantly without powers and you're constantly getting kidnapped and captured and bound and gagged, you still go out there every single day. Amidst all the hardships, amidst all the ridicule, you go for it. You are a true hero. Of course, that doesn't make her feel that much better when she's essentially walking around in body paint. But so that's the premise, and it's pretty funny. You probably noticed I read 500 pages or something like that. The first volume is a lot longer than most of the volumes on Comixology. It's like 250 pages long. 2 volumes were available. There are plenty more. I would love to read plenty more because I really enjoyed this. It's quite funny. A lot of the humor does come at the expense of her constantly being kidnapped. The bad guys just overpowering her and tying her up because her suit rips and she she gets tied up. But what really sells this book for me is the characters. Her eventual boyfriend is one of the thugs. His name is Thug Boy. It's just what they call him. But he's a supervillain minion. One of the guys who's constantly tying her up. And he's like, I think you're my favorite superhero. And they end up shacking up and living together and being in they're so cute couple. One time she's kidnapped by some ninja named Ninjette. And Ninjette kidnaps her and ties her up and calls the piece, says, okay, I captured Empowered, come pick her up. It's been 6 hours. Are you going to come pick her up at all? Hello? Sorry, this is really embarrassing. Dum-dee-doo-dee-doo. Okay, it's been 8 hours. Oh, look, Empowered escaped. Yeah, that's terrible. She's gone. Yeah, well, bye. And so, because the people who hired her to kidnap Empowered never showed up to pick her up, Ninjette just unties her and invites her out for coffee. And those two become fast friends. Another major character in the book is this cosmic horror, like Cthulhu, that comes down to Earth and pretty much kicks the crap out of every superhero, but Empowered sneaks up behind it and captures it in an alien bondage belt, which she got because aliens kidnapped her and tied her up in an alien bondage belt, but then found out they made a mistake and returned her and said, you can keep the belt, it's cool. So she had this. So now she has this Cthulhu-like cosmic horror trapped in an alien bondage belt, which she kept in her closet for a while, but the demon spawn of the cosmos kept yelling from the belt, saying, I'm really bored in here. And so now they keep him on the coffee table where he, she, it, I have no idea what gender the cosmic horror is, watches television and sports and complains that they haven't purchased the new season of Sopranos on DVD or whatever it's planning on watching. I don't know how well I'm selling this, but it's really funny. In fact, after a while, there's not so much superheroing as it's kind of just focusing on these 4 characters, Empowered, Thug Boy, Ninjette, and the bane of the cosmos, the blood scourge of the universe, conqueror of worlds, eater of children. Silence ye foolish jackanapes, for I, that kind of thing, trapped in a bondage belt in the coffee table. Just their day-to-day interacting with each other is so much fun. But the book does have a lot of humor in it. One of the first gags is Empowered is running around, and she's on a superhero team called the Super Homies. And I think she's like the alternate or an honorary member because everyone thinks she's kind of lame. And the first thing they do is yell at her for wearing underwear under her super skin tight super suit because you can totally see her underwear under the super suit because it looks like pull on a pair of underwear and then paint your body black, and that's what it looks like. And they're like, you go home and you take those underwear off, and don't you even think about coming back in a thong, young lady. The humor does get somewhat ribald in places. In fact, there's a whole... My biggest criticism for the book is when Empowered and Thug Boy hook up, they have sex. A lot. Sex, for a huge chunk of the first volume of the book. Now, the sex is usually the punchline to a joke or the setup to a joke. And it usually pays off, but after a while, I was reading it going, yeah, they're boning. I got it. Let's do something else, for crying out loud. But they're so damn cute that's kind of... I'll overlook that. I think it does get bogged down in the sex, but oh well. But as I was saying, some of the humor does get quite ribald. I mean, Empowered is holding up a truck so that Thug Boy can, work on the undercarriage, and Ninjette is asking her about her super suit, and she says, "Oh, well, it actually has other powers, but they're stupid, so I don't use them." And she says, "Like what?" And Empowered says, "Well, invisibility." And Ninjette says, "Invisibility is awesome. I'm a ninja. I need that power." "What do you mean that's a stupid power?" And she says, "Well, no. Only my suit becomes invisible. So I can make the suit invisible, but I'm still visible. So essentially, instead of being in this ridiculously revealing suit, now I'm naked." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, that is useless." She says, and remember, she's holding a truck above her head, which she can do as long as her suit doesn't tear. And she says, "Look, I'll just make the mask disappear." And of course, the suit never seems to really work right, so of course everything but the mask disappears, and she's stuck standing there stark naked in a mask, holding a truck above her head. And Ninjette says, "Oh, you shave." And it gets into a whole thing where it talks about her need to shave her nether regions because the suit does weird things with her pubic hair. It looks like, and I quote, "latex-covered steel wool." Now, this is never illustrated in the book. It just says that's what it looks like. It's just described, and wow, that paints a picture, doesn't it? There's another thing where she early in the book, one of the early jokes is she's like, I'm gonna try throwing this car at the bad guy, and so she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna grab this car," and she just yanks the bumper off, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And so she finally manages to pick up this car and throw it at the bad guy. Yes! And then this elderly couple walks up and she says, "Excuse me, young lady. Have you seen a car anywhere? We parked our car right here. Have you seen it?" And she's like, "Oh, crap." Interestingly, the first several comics, like the first half of the first book, are very short comics. They're like 4 pages or less. As the series moves on, it feels like Adam Warren, the author, just had a fun idea of, hey, what if we had a superhero with a really crappy super suit that made her look silly and constantly tore and constantly lost powers. It's kind of like Kenny always getting killed in South Park. I don't know if they still do that, but in the early seasons. She's just constantly, her suit ends up tatters and gets caught. And she gets bound and gagged by the bad guys. Just this running joke. And it seems he just like fell in love with the universe and the characters and just expanded it, and it is so much damn fun. And the characters are so fun and cool and lovable and just interesting to follow around. Especially that damn wolf bane of the cosmos thing that's caught in the alien bondage belt on her coffee table. And there's some other really great things in this book, like the super homies were originally formed by a group of superheroes who met in a support group for superheroes who got their powers via sexually transmitted alien diseases. So one of the super homies is Protean, who is kind of like Clayface, just this gelatinous blob that can shapeshift. And it turns out he was human once, but he had sex with some alien and caught a disease and turned into a blob monster. One of the android guys on the team, he also was a human once, but he made it with some robot and caught a disease, and now he's half robot. And she says, wow, that's kind of a coincidence that you all became superheroes via sexually transmitted disease from aliens. And they're like, well, it's not that much a coincidence. We met in a support group for people who got powers from alien STDs. I just love the idea that that's a thing that's really a problem. This is definitely a series that I'll be picking up at some point. I really enjoyed it. And I recommend everyone check it out because it is a ton of fun. It's very funny, but mostly the characters are wonderful. They're people you want to spend time with, and that is probably the most important thing in a story for me, is characters I like and want to hang out with. So Empowered gets a thumbs up from me. So you done good, Adam Warren. You done good.